Now for the Republican perspective, another member of the so-called Gang of Eight, Senator Jeff Flake from Arizona. Senator, welcome. Senator, let me start with the same question that I started with Senator Schumer at the beginning. Is how close are we to a deal? Are you guys there? Is it just dotting an I and crossing a T?
Well, we're much closer with labor and business agreeing on this guest worker plan. That doesn't mean we've crossed every I or dotted every T, or vice versa. We've still got a ways to go in terms of looking at the language and making sure that it's everything we thought it would be, but we're closer, certainly.
If there is a deal that you agree to with this group of eight, but you can't recruit more Republicans on your side, would you walk away?
You know, we're committed to this if we can get the language right. And I think that we'll stick together as a gang, and I hope that we can pull some Republicans our way. I think a number of them are with us already. So I don't want to talk about walking away. I don't intend to do that.
How important is Senator Rubio to this cause? He sort of is seen as the bridge to some of the more conservative members of the Senate conference. If he wasn't in this coalition, would it hurt your cause to get a large vote?
You bet. He's extremely important. As Senator Schumer said, he's had great input, a lot of input into the language already. He's making the point now that we need to go through regular order, which I certainly support, and so he's extremely important to this effort.
When you say regular order, and I heard Senator Schumer say that Senator Leahy, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, was going to have expansive hearings, this has been a criticism of some other Republicans that are not involved in these negotiations. The fact is, we just had two special interest groups negotiate part of this deal. No elected officials were involved in it. Is that healthy for this process?
Well, I can say elected officials were involved in this. We're involved every step of the way. But the point is that every senator has his own or her own franchise here, and we want to see this bill move through regular order. It will be amended in the Judiciary Committee. It will be amended certainly on the floor. So there will be input. There should be input. It'll make it a better product. And certainly if people are going to buy into it, there has to be further input from the Senate, and obviously the House will move its own bill.
Senator Schumer would not tell us what this metrics on border security, this is your home state of Arizona. You've said that there are two sort of border sectors in Arizona. One is the Yuma sector, one is the Tucson sector. And you say that Yuma has got it right. Well, what does that mean, that there is operational control? Can you explain what that means in layman's terms to the viewers out there?
Yes, I was in both the Yuma sector last week and the Tucson sector, and there is a difference. In the Yuma sector, people still get through, but our Border Patrol and other agents have a reasonable expectation of catching them. That's probably the best explanation of what operational control means. You'll never stop everyone from coming through, and you have a lot of commerce, legal commerce, that happens at the border as well. So when people talk about having a sealed border, we don't need a sealed border, we need a secure border. That's what we have in Yuma. We're just quite a ways from that in the Tucson sector.
And when that is done, that's when would trigger the pathway to citizenship?
Yes. First, we've got to get, as you mentioned, some kind of metrics from the Department of Homeland Security. In a recent report that they had, increased apprehensions was used in one part of the report to indicate that we had a better situation. In another part of the report, increased apprehensions or decreased apprehensions was used to demonstrate the same. So we've had trouble getting good metrics out of the Department of Homeland Security. We're going to have that before we move further.